Every generation believes history belongs to the past, until the people who lived it begin to disappear. 80 years ago, the world stood on the edge of collapse. Entire cities burned. Families vanished overnight. Millions of young men crossed oceans, climbed mountains, and marched into places they had never heard of, all before they were old enough to truly understand what war meant. Today, those young soldiers are over 100 years old. Their voices have become quieter. Their memories have become more fragile. And every passing week, another chapter of living history closes forever. Soon, there will be no one left who can honestly say, "I watched World War II with my own eyes." When that moment arrives, history will no longer have witnesses, only stories. But before those voices disappear forever, they still have something they desperately want the world to hear. Roadmap. In today's documentary, we'll discover, first, the ordinary morning that suddenly became the beginning of history. Then, the unforgettable friendships that kept soldiers alive when hope disappeared. And finally, the one warning these last witnesses want every future generation to remember before they're gone forever. Most of them weren't heroes. Not yet. Many were farm boys, factory workers, college students, mechanics, teachers. Some had never traveled farther than the next town. Then one morning, everything changed. A letter arrived, a train ticket appeared, or a recruiting officer knocked at the door. Within days, they were leaving everything behind. Parents, sweethearts, brothers, children who believed they would return before Christmas. No one knew how many goodbyes would become permanent. The veterans rarely remember speeches from famous generals. Instead, they remember tiny details. The smell of engine oil, rain soaking through heavy uniforms, cold coffee, letters that took months to arrive. One veteran once explained, "The war wasn't one long battle. It was thousands of little moments where you kept hoping tomorrow would be easier." Those little moments became the memories that lasted an entire lifetime. Every veteran remembers one day, the day war stopped feeling like adventure. For some, it was watching their closest friend fall only a few feet away. For others, it happened inside liberated concentration camps, places where silence somehow became louder than gunfire. Many soldiers expected to find monsters. Instead, they found ordinary people who had survived unimaginable suffering. Others discovered something even more difficult to understand. The enemy, not the idea of the enemy. The person, a frightened young man, dirty, hungry, holding a photograph from home. In that single moment, many veterans realized something they would carry forever. War doesn't erase humanity. It traps humanity on opposite sides. Long after the bullets stopped, another battle continued, the battle inside memory. Many survivors asked themselves the same impossible question. Why me? Why did I return home when so many others never could? That question followed them for 80 years. When the war finally ended, the veterans didn't return as celebrities. They returned as ordinary people carrying extraordinary memories. They became builders, teachers, engineers, farmers, doctors, parents. They helped rebuild countries that had nearly destroyed themselves. Yet few believed they had done anything special. Ask many of today's surviving veterans, and they won't describe themselves as heroes. Instead, they'll tell you they simply did what had to be done. But as the decades passed, they noticed something changing. The memories grew more distant. The lessons became easier to forget. New generations began seeing war only through movies, rather than through the eyes of those who survived it. That worries many of the final witnesses more than their own mortality, because forgetting history has always been the first step toward repeating it. Point one day, the final witness will leave us. No interviews, no first-hand memories, no one left to answer the question, what was it really like? Only silence, unless we continue telling their stories. Because remembrance isn't only about battles, it's about people. Young men and women whose ordinary lives became part of extraordinary history. Their greatest hope was never to become famous. It was that future generations would never have to live through what they endured. That hope now belongs to us. If someone in your family served during World War II, tell their story, share their name, keep their memory alive, because history only truly disappears when no one is left willing to remember. This is WW2 Decoded. Thank you for watching. And thank you to the last witnesses who made our world possible.